The approach from the start was that we would hire great bankers and have them move their books of business to us. We did that successfully here in Nashville. Part of the strategy was just to drip on the market with more hires, so that you develop this reputation as being a great place to work. Knoxville was the next extension for us. That was an easy extension. Rob probably even today would be the best known banker in Knoxville. We actually had a vision statement that we started with, was we wanted to be the best financial services firm, best place to work in Nashville. And so my view is that Murfreesboro is Nashville. Of course, after I worked with Bill a little while, I figured out Murfreesboro and Rutherford County is not part of Nashville. But after we did Calvary, we had to expand that out and call it Middle Tennessee to make sure we drug everybody in.
You know, since Pinnacle didn't do any advertising, been focused on Nashville and Knoxville, it was off the radar screen. So I think the local folks were taken completely by surprise, and so that, you know, we had to do things to make sure they quickly understood what Pinnacle was, both outside the bank and inside the bank.
I'll never forget our first leadership retreat over at Blackberry. I think you roomed with Barry Moody.
I did.
Is that right?
I did.
And we didn't have enough bedrooms, so Bill had to room with Barry Moody.
There were 170 banks that opened across the nation in 2007, and Capital Mark was in the top 5 in both revenue growth and balance sheet growth. So we were pretty proud of that. We set out to hire experienced bankers with the idea that they'd move their book of business. I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard you started calling around Chattanooga asking people, who are the good bankers in town? And you learned very quickly that they were all at Capital Mark. And I tell you, the one thing you said when we did the deal, you said, I want you to have a $2 to $2.5 billion bank in a certain period of time. We're sitting there today with $2.7 billion in deposits and $2.3 billion in loans.
Good work, man. That's fabulous.
It's been a great ride.
Yeah, for sure.
So we started a community bank in Thomasville, North Carolina. And really for the first 10 years, that company, we grew it just right in that local market. You know, I think one of the primary reasons that this merger has worked as well as it has is the culture weren't here and here. Fast forward, we closed on the High Point Bank transaction. 4 months later, announced the sale, merger with Pinnacle. So I kind of thought they were going to run me out of town when we did that. But the way you guys engaged, orientations, and integrating the people there, that was the key. Had we just said, hey, we're doing this, and just left it alone, we would have never gotten off to a running start.
Just like I mentioned at the outset, we started with this vision to be the best financial service firm, best place to work in Nashville. We broadened it out to Middle Tennessee, and then to all of Tennessee, and then to the Southeast. So it feels like to me there's a ton of running room left in doing exactly what we set out to do in the very early stages of this company.